Hey, welcome back to Minecraft Through the Night, Season 5, Temple of Dawn. Let's go get shipwreck stuff. Oh yeah, we need to repair that derpage with some sand. Let's do that before we move along. How much sand do we need here? A little bit. Maybe some sandstone stairs too. Saw a creeper over here. I guess he discombobulated. It's way too late for me to be playing. I should be in bed. It's after 3 a.m. Just hard to settle down and go to sleep, you know. Guess it looks like we're going to do a little bit of work here on the perimeter. Good. Put down some of this excess inventory. Man, traffic is so loud outside. You know, it's really strange. I kept thinking, there's some things about this house that, you know, I'm not the happiest about. But I kept thinking, you know, I can take it for a little bit longer. Maybe I'll be moving to Thailand soon. Or, you know, splitting my time in Thailand and US. And that'll be cool. You know, it'll all be cool. Strange how I just got ahead of myself like that. It's really weird. I typically not one to get ahead of myself that bad. But I did this time. Take some time to readjust, I guess. What are we going to do today in Minecraft Through the Night? Just relax, I guess, maybe. Like this, chill. Let's go back and start from the bottom again here. I'm doing this really to make it to where mobs won't spawn up there, and I don't have to light this up. It's really the only reason. We could do a little bit more. There's no reason not to. No reason at all. Got all the time in the world. As I record this, Hong Kong protests are still going full force. I got a bit of a taste of that myself. When I returned from Bangkok, the flight I was supposed to take was canceled because of the Hong Kong protest. The airport was closed, and Hong Kong Airlines canceled their flight. And apparently there were some protests inside the airport, but it's hard to know. It's hard to know if it really was, you know. The U.S. media is certainly not reporting it very well, and Chinese media, of course, is not really reporting it with any kind of what's the word? It's really hard to get a unbiased perspective. Everybody has a horse in the race, it seems like. Anyway, all I know is my flight was originally canceled, and Noi got on the phone and raised 3 kinds of heck with Hong Kong Airline. She didn't really raise heck, not like that, not like a U.S. person would. She was very kind, compassionate, and very gracefully asked if there was anything that could be done to help this American national get back home in time. And they found a way. She got a hold of a supervisor at Hong Kong Air who basically took it on herself, instructed her staff to get me on that flight. There wasn't supposed to be a flight, really. Oh, we're too short. Huh. We got them all except 2. Yeah, so my flight was canceled. It was supposed to leave like on 4 a.m. Supposed to leave like 4 a.m. to return home. And I was coming back I had a United flight out of Hong Kong to San Francisco, a United flight from San Francisco to Oklahoma City. And so essentially, because the Hong Kong flight was canceled, I was going to miss all my connections. And when Noi, basically that was the leverage that Noi used to explain to the Hong Kong Air supervisor, you know, is there anything at all you can find for this guy? And essentially there was a flight that was really not supposed to happen. Well, there was a flight that was supposed to be canceled. Let me back up. There was a flight, a Hong Kong Air flight that was delayed from the previous day, dramatically delayed. With a lot of people asleep through this night. A lot of people waiting for their return, sleeping in the airport, in Bangkok airport. How come I had potatoes? Oh, slimes, that's what's going on. It's slimes doing this nonsense. I just bet. Hey, we'll take the free arrows and the bones. I bet it's slimes doing all this kind of nonsense. Flapping and whapping on my garden. Oh, I forgot I can add a stair there too. Okay, I want to add more of these stairs. And somehow I was put on, it took 3 Hong Kong Airlines staff 20 full minutes when I, from the time that I notified the very sweet little young lady who was helping to get the passengers, you know, in the correct lines as they were getting ready to start the process of getting people re-ticketed or boarded for that flight, for the delayed flight. I don't know if I'm making a whole lot of sense, but there was a regular flight that was supposed to happen on, don't remember the day, but let's say it was supposed to happen on Friday afternoon, and it was Friday morning, and it was delayed multiple times, and then canceled, then uncanceled, then and ultimately the flight did happen, and it took off it was just a normal flight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, and just a regular flight into Hong Kong. There was no issues in Hong Kong. It was one of the most breathtakingly beautiful cities I've ever seen in my life from the air. In fact, I'll say it was the most breathtaking city I've ever seen in my life from the air. Incredibly beautiful place. Mind-blowingly beautiful. That whole trip, that was sort of a bookend of a trip in which I felt like it was like James Bond or something. I was like, I'm being treated like a rock star here, and I really didn't understand it, you know. But Noi just, what can I say? She was just a very classy, first-class person. Everything for her was the best. I mean, she looked for discounts. She's very frugal, but she had ways of finding the best deals and getting the best service and the best responses from people. And there's a million reasons I fell in love with her. And it was like almost like every few days there was a new reason to fall in love with her. And I said from the outset, I told my daughter that she is way out of my league. I just happened to get really lucky to be able to spend some time with her and to get close to her and learn about her world and her food, her people, her culture, her nation, the monarchy, the language, everything. Her family, whom I care about so much. I was really lucky to be able to learn about that, and but it seems like just every so often I would learn something new that just blew my mind about her. She fought to get me on that flight. My flight, I got the cancellation about 9 p.m. and she had come over to my hotel room. She was going to take me to oh wow, this village is really, really super duper close. Easily within walking distance. Huh. Wow. Yeah, half a kilometer. Oops. Huh. Sorry about that. Just enough room. How about that? Just enough room. While she was doing that, I mean, she had insisted on taking me to the airport, and I was kind of confused because I thought I was going to take a taxi, and then it was going to be her brother-in-law who was going to take me, and then I never really got an explanation for this, and I think I know now why. I guess in retrospect, I think she tried to tell me a number of times that things would not work out for the two of us in the long run, and it was best if we just, went our ways. But I think she had a hard time expressing that. I know, my goodness, I was so enthusiastic about it all that maybe it was just difficult for her to, maybe the reason she took me to the airport was so that, I don't know, either so she could have a few more minutes with me, or she could have a chance to tell me that, let's go our own separate ways and don't stress about any of this anymore. But anyway, that was kind of a mystery, and I guess I just figured it out, that was what that was about. But anyway, she insisted on taking me to the airport, and again, my flight was supposed to leave, I think, at 4 o'clock in the morning, and it was canceled at 9 p.m. the night before, and by then she was taking a nap. And no, I mean, don't, there was no hanky-panky or anything like that. She was simply just tired, and she had to go do work the next day, and she simply needed to rest, and so I insisted that she take a nap. So okay, we're gonna have to this stuff kind of forces the issue, doesn't it? We got 3 different kinds of suspicious stew, or at least if it's not different kinds, it doesn't stack. All right. It was such a strange night at the airport. I had to, the supervisor with Hong Kong Air gave us specific instructions, and anyway, so she was taking a nap, and I got the cancellation, and I immediately started trying to figure out what I could do. And I'm not a seasoned traveler. I'm not a conflict kind of person. I don't really know what to do except just to grin and bear it. And not her. She told me, I looked online to figure out what I could do, and because I had booked everything, my 2 other trips were through United. I really didn't have any options, and was really lost on what to do. So this will be night 2. So after I tried my best to see if I could figure out some options, I reluctantly awoke her to tell her my flight was canceled and I wasn't really sure what to do. And she kind of just, at that point, she took control and told me to get on the air with, oh, there's a pillager. Where in the world are they coming from? There's not a pillager up. Oh, the village is about, well, no, it's 500 meters that way. That's weird. There's nothing close by. Well, let's get over here. Just use the daylight here to get over here to one of these shipwrecks and at least start looting the chest for it. So she took control, and wow. Let's see. It's closer this way than this way. While I was on the phone to Expedia, she was on the phone. She actually started with her sister, who's in the military, but is familiar with the airport. Now, it was getting to be, dark 30, and she finally got, while I was working through Expedia, she finally got a hold of someone at Hong Kong Air and reached a supervisor and just worked on that supervisor and got me on the flight and then took me there early, told me exactly what to do. She actually wrote down the information in case I encountered any language issues with anyone, and thank goodness for that, because I don't speak Thai, and no one there spoke English, and so no one there, they spoke English, but it's difficult. The communication is difficult, and so Noe wrote down a note for me in Thai with all the information about the phone call, and I took that with me to the airport. She gave it to me and said, "You give this to anybody if they don't understand what you're saying." And I did exactly what she told me. And the one thing that was different that I had to improvise was my flight, the ticketing rerouting gate was not supposed to open until 3 a.m., 1 hour before the flight. And So I had my bags and everything, and I was um, um, settled down in a seat where I could see the ticket counter, and started napping because it'd been a long day, and yeah, long confusing day trying to understand what was going on between us, and everything. It was my last day in Bangkok, last day in Thailand, and just really tired, exhausted from the trip and from not understanding where I stood, where we stood. And oh wow, I forgot oh, that's right, I didn't loot that shipwreck. I looted it, but I did not break it down. That's fine. I just want to grab the stuff here. And let's just remove that. I want to get some of that bubbly stuff at some point. So I gave the note. At 2 a.m. I woke up from a doze and realized that Noi took me to the airport we left about 11 p.m. so we could get there, by midnight. Bangkok traffic is crazy all hours of the day. And we got there at well before midnight, and I got myself some snacks and really found a seat where I could doze with my stuff, my luggage near me. And at 2 a.m. I woke up and saw that a bunch of people were already at the gates, and it looked like they were getting ready to check people for the flight, for that much delayed flight that I had been put on. And so I was thinking about all the work that Noi had done, and the fact that she had told me again and again I need to stand up for myself and tell them what I want. And so I went right up and found a young lady who was directing people where to stand, and I gave her the name of the supervisor who was involved and told her that the supervisor had specifically authorized me to be on this flight, and yada yada. And the young lady she seemed, oops, yeah, did that. Oh yeah, I already had a chest, good. But the note, when I gave her the note, oh, that was just golden. That explained everything. And she immediately took it up to the people who were behind the gate, and one of them came out from around the gate and to speak with me, and we spoke for a bit, and then she called somebody else over, and it ended up there were 3 people behind that gate at Hong Kong Airlines, keying into the computer system, talking on their walkie-talkie, calling people on their phone, all these little things to do to get me on that flight. And they did. They did. It was just unbelievable. I was just amazed by it. Where did that zombie flesh come from? That's orbiting around us. I don't know. But it's okay. Just one more reason. I mean, how can you not fall in love with somebody who does that for you? And that was just on top of everything else. And as I said, I think that was after she had decided that I think she had already decided things weren't going to work out between us. She could have left me she could have left me in Bangkok. She could have told me, oh man, I'm really sorry, but you have to reschedule everything. She could have just, after all she had done for me, I couldn't hold any of that against her. We were talking about, we were making plan B, like, I'm gonna have to stay another week, and when can I reroute my flights? And apparently this was affecting other people, and so when I was looking at the next flights to get, and one of the things we worked on the first was my travel insurance, and my trip insurance was not going to cover a flight cancellation because of civil unrest. And Noi got really upset about that. She's an attorney, and she was really upset about it. But our first thought had been, well, this will be covered, and I'll just reschedule the flights, and the cost will be covered under my trip insurance. But we got to reading the trip insurance, and she looked at the fine print on it, pulled it up on the website, and we realized that it was not going to be covered. And it was going to be at my expense to reschedule. So then I started looking at rebooking the flight, and I was going to be able to get a $1,000 flight in about 3 days, about 3 days. And then a little while later, after we had done some more searching into it and calling, I looked again, and it was going to be a whole week. The cheap flights were gone, and it was going to be a week before I could get another cheap flight. I think that was about the point where she got serious about getting some kind of a deal for me lined up with Hong Kong Air in the Bangkok airport. I mean, who does that for somebody? Good gosh. She does. I can hear what you're saying, dog. You need to put a ring on that. Word, my friend. I would if I could. I would, man. In a heartbeat. And I've told her that a number of times. I would marry her so fast. And it would be the pleasure of my life. No doubt. But she's the one who's decided that it's not to be, and she's made it clear. I really hope that someday I come back. One of these days I come back on this series, and I say, you know what? I was a darn fool. I totally misread her. I thought when she said X, she meant X, but she meant Y. I don't think that's going to be the case, though. That's just my wishful thinking. Well, we had the Z shipwreck, the Pueblo Beach shipwreck is cleared, and the containers brought back here. The shipwreck that we looted is cleared, and everything brought back here. And the shipwreck with the, let me think, I think it was the double shipwreck, is half cleared. So we need to clear half of that, and then fully clear the first one. and that will clear us out with all the shipwrecks. And with that, I'm going to call it an episode, and just want to point out to you that these drying racks for the zombie flesh, I have them all around the inside of the perimeter of the base, and I use those, and almost in real time the zombie flesh dried out and created leather. So we now have 11 more leather courtesy of 44 zombie flesh that I was able to just walk around the perimeter of the base, putting it up and then replacing it and taking it down. Well, I could write you a book about Noi and about all that went down between us and the miracles that she pulled off. And someday I will. And until then, I'm going to call it a night, and I'll see you again. Minecraft Through the Night, Season 5, Temple of Dawn.